Hi there, I'm Birgit O'Connor and welcome to my studio. I'm so sorry that I'm not actually able to be with you for the demonstration, the workshop, or the show, but I thought it would be nice to give you an idea of what I thought about the show and uh, congratulate the award winners because you've all done such an amazing job. And I just wanted to give you a little idea of my thought process and how I went about judging it. For this painting, I really liked the subject matter and thought it was very well executed. Your colors are wonderful and the reflections are very, very nice and well done. This painting I thought was very intriguing with a great sense of design, and I really did like those little white lines around the flowers. Here I was really intrigued by your use of color and found it very interesting. I really liked how the emotion of the painting came through with the atmospheric effects and your use of values. Here, the foreground and the values in the distance has a wonderful sense in this particular painting. Very well executed, how you have the light back here working to your darker values in the foreground. Very interesting and intriguing. And this here I thought was really fun with all the texture and how you incorporated the body into it and the couch. I thought it was such a good use of design. I loved the simplicity of the boats and the color. I thought you did a great job. Here, I really liked your background and how you had that focal point on these leaves. This I thought was interesting too. It just gives such a sense of whimsy. And how interesting to look at the fish up here and the person below, and your use of color is very well done. And I loved this batik look through here. That was very interesting, and your composition is also very well done. Now, I thought this was very intriguing and so imaginative, and I just liked the design. How unusual to use the shadow, giving the impression of what these people are looking at. I thought it was very unique. And here, what an interesting way of really handling a lot of movement through the entire landscape and use of color. Beautiful. Wonderful sense of design and color. Really enjoyed that. I like your oranges up here and yellows, and it was just very interesting. Okay, here. It's so interesting and imaginative. Here I liked your use of watercolor blending and also the sense of texture in here. Now this is beautiful too. Such a simplistic background here, nice gradation of color and these beautiful flowers, and the negative space through here is absolutely excellent. This is a wonderful, bold and dramatic landscape and how it draws the eye from the foreground out into the distance. Beautifully done. What I really enjoyed with this one is the design, complementary colors, and use of shapes. What I like here is the design, use of color, and how you handled the highlights, and very interesting background. This was a wonderful painting too. It's strong and dramatic. I love your use of light and darkness. It's a very strong painting. And here I like how you used everyday objects, your use of color and design. For this one, I like the simplicity of the landscape, how you incorporated the blooms and texture into your painting. Now, what I liked about this particular piece was the artist's use of the wet and wet technique, along with those strong hits of color here and there, and the path of light. Beautifully done. And here you've got a strong sense of design and use of color. This is an absolutely excellent landscape. The trees are wonderful, your sky, how you handled the birds back here, and how it really gives one a sense of standing here looking off onto this little barn. What I like about this painting is the real simplicity of shapes. You've got a wonderful sky, great yellow that contrasts the blue, wonderful shadow and foreground. I also like these little areas right in here that give the impression of trees. Very, very well done. It's beautiful. Now, succulents are one of my most favorite subjects, and you handled this beautifully. I love the texture that you have within the leaves, highlights, your use of color and design. And what I really enjoyed about this particular painting is the wet and wet application and simplicity. What's wonderful about this painting is the use of light and hard and soft edges. It's beautiful. Now, this is really unique, strong sense of design and color, and it's so unusual. It's beautiful. I mean, that is a strong red, very, very interesting background, wonderful shapes, beautiful values moving through the painting. It's excellent. What I like about this painting is the stylized design and how you have a lot of movement through it, your use of line, value, and color. Now, here, I really like the subject matter, and it's also very well executed. Beautiful reflections and ocean. It has a nice, harmonious feeling. Now, for this particular painting, I like how my eye continued to travel around it. So you've got this nice top area and the beach here, along with the colors and strong sense of design. What I liked about this particular painting was how you handled the human form and turned it into an abstract shape, along with your layering of color. Now, this is a wonderful portrait. I like how you handled the abstract shapes in the background, your use of color, how it navigates into the lighter highlight in the foreground. You captured her expression, shadows, and detail. What I like about this particular painting is how you handled all that detail over on this side and over here with just a few strokes of your brush. Beautifully done. What I found intriguing about this was your use of color and abstract quality. I thought it was a lot of fun. Now, for this particular painting, I found this really interesting and I kept coming back to it. I thought the color might be a little light for what I was looking for in the show, but I thought their presentation was very unique. Now, here are some of the top contenders. What I really enjoyed about this painting is how you incorporated that background into the rest of your painting. It really brought a sense of whimsy, sets it apart, and makes it really unusual, and it's extremely well executed. Now, what I thought about this painting is that it has a wonderful sense of design, abstract quality, and use of color. What I really liked about this painting was the abstract quality of the human form and use of color. This is a great painting too, because I could actually just visualize this man sitting on the shore, fishing, just taking it easy. Great sense of design and technique. Now, here the artist has a wonderful sense of color and captured the emotion of a conversation, great facial expression, and use of the medium. Now, here I like the simplicity, the more abstracted shapes, and use of the medium. What's nice about this particular painting is the use of color and how the eye travels through the painting and the confident strokes. What's wonderful about this painting is that it has a wonderful sense of design, color, and abstract shapes. It's joyful and uplifting. Now, the fine detail in this particular painting is outstanding. The use of color, the fine lines, use of values are amazing in this wonderful portrait. Here we have an excellent use of the watercolor medium, good sense of color and design. What I thought was interesting about this painting, I absolutely loved how you handled the abstract quality of the landscape, but that strong sense of that deep blue sky. I thought that really set it apart. What's wonderful about this painting is the amount of detail, yet simplistic approach to this, and how you have the values travel from the shadow side over to the light, very well executed, and her expression. What's wonderful about this painting is how the light hits her face, and then how the skin has all those different tones of color, and then the abstract quality of her hair and body with just a few strokes. Here, I feel you captured the simplicity of the landscape with just the right amount of detail and wonderful use of value and color. Now, here we have the award winners in no particular order. These are the ones that I thought stood out from all the rest. What I really liked about this particular painting was the use of color, abstract shapes, and how they were still able to capture the emotion of their subject. Here we have a kaleidoscope of different colors, and I love the lost edges, how you captured the emotion in the eyes, and just the right amount of detail. I thought this had a nice combination of abstract, yet still capturing the emotion of the subject. What drew me to this particular painting was their use of light, abstract shapes, and still capturing the right amount of detail to give the impression of being in this slot canyon. What I found the most intriguing about this particular painting was the use of color and how they handled the watercolor medium. I've never seen anything like this. And what we have here are lots of little lines and little blooms. I think they handled it very, very nicely. It's very well executed, and their subject matter is also very well done. It's confident, bold, striking, and it deserves to be an award winner. What's wonderful about this particular painting is that this artist has a wonderful sense of design, good use of color, abstract shapes, and also has a three-dimensional quality. For this painting, what I was really fascinated by was the reflection of the yellow ball in the child's face. It has an amazing amount of detail, yet simplicity and realism. It's very well done. In this painting, I'm drawn to the use of color and how the light goes through the object into the shadow, transparency of color, and design. For this painting, what I do like is the traditional quality of the boats, plus the moody feel of the atmosphere, the very still water, the reflections. It's very well done. In this abstract, I was drawn to their use of color, transparency of the medium, and how their design draws the eye through the painting. Now, congratulations to the award winners and to everyone that made it into the show. So I do hope to meet with you sometime in the future. And until then, stay healthy and happy painting.